Hello and welcome to my channel where I post literally whatever I want. And today what I want to post is a definitive ranking of all of my favorite scenes of crying men in every K-drama that I have ever watched. I love K-dramas so much. I will never watch another American show ever again, except for Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and Community, which I have been watching on repeat nonstop for the last 10 years of my life. So we will be using the format of the pyramid made famous by Abby Lee and Dance Moms. I have 10 scenes here. 4 of them are Hoonbin, obviously. I will be spoiling many shows, major plot points, including 100 Days My Prince, Vincenzo. I have to look at all of these so I remember which ones I've watched. Flower Crew, Descendants of the Sun, Crash Landing on You, obviously. Summer Strike. Oh, that one's Crash Landing on You again. There's 3 of those. Memories of the Alhambra. That's all. I think that's everything I've watched. In my bottom tier, we're starting out with the brother from 100 Days My Prince. He is the only person I have ever cared about in my entire life. He is only in the bottom tier because he doesn't technically fulfill the criteria, because there's not really one specific scene of him crying. It's more just that he is the saddest, most broken man that I have ever met. And I was rooting for his happiness. Like, I have not rooted for anyone's happiness ever in my entire life. And as we know, it was not to be. And then I thought about it, and then I was like, do you know what? Give this poor man the sweet release of death. Let him fly to Abraham's bosom and be at peace. So brother, I'm so sorry, I don't know his name.
Sorry to this man.
Brother just deserves to be represented, so he's going right here. Next, we have Vincenzo. You know this scene, you know the one. That's his mom, that's her ear right there, so you know what's going on here. Stunning, gorgeous, beautiful. We love a silent tear rolling down the face as one tries to restrain one's sorrow. But he is in the bottom tier because he never explicitly says, "It's me, Mom, I'm your son, Vincenzo." Also in the bottom tier, we have Kim Soo from Flower Crew Joseon Marriage Agency. He is my son, with whom I am well pleased. However, he got on my nerves a little bit in the middle because it took him too long to let her go. She did not want to be with him, and he got a little possessive, and that bothered me. It all worked out in the end, and he also does not have one specific crying scene. It's more just that he sort of quietly cries nonstop throughout the whole series, and as he should. Very understandable given his circumstances. Good for him. He is my precious little boy, but someone has to go on the bottom. Okay, also on the bottom tier, my cousin is gonna get really mad at me for this, but these are just the boys from Descendants of the Sun. I can't even remember a specific scene. I think what's his name here, the second lead guy, I feel like I remember the occasional single solitary manly tear rolling down his cheek. But obviously, if I don't have a memory of a distinct scene in which they cried, which was very impactful to me, then they have to go on the bottom tier. Oh no, Kim Soo, hang on. Okay, tier 3, we start with Captain Ree crying right after Sari has been shot. I have no complaints about this scene, 10 out of 10. Very grief-stricken, very dramatic, very powerful, flawless acting, as always. There's just other scenes I like more, so here he... Also in the third tier, Daebum from Summer Strike, my precious little elf prince. As usual, flawless, beautiful, stunning, having a stunning little cry, not maybe in this scene specifically, this is the only screen grab I could find, but you know the one where he goes back into the billiard hall and he has all the traumatic flashbacks and he has to hold her hand and have a little cry. I like sometimes it's good to have a little mix up and have a bit of a repressed weep instead of like a sob. Big fan of that one. Big fan of Summer Strike all around. One of my favorites. We also have Captain Rhee crying, hearing the recording of his brother's voice. Again, flawless. Nothing wrong with it. Just a couple of things I like more. So, into tier 3 we go. This one, it's impossible to see. I know that. I know that I printed grainy images off of screenshots that I found on Google that I then emailed to my parents' computer so that I could print it off of their printer. I know that's not the way that these things are done, and yet here we are. It's Hoon Bin, again, this time in Memories of the Alhambra. Now I know that Memories of the Alhambra ended messily, unsatisfactorily, with many questions still unanswered. However, this scene where he tenderly stabs the AR corpse of his beloved friend in order to save the world, it's so good. It's so good. The heavy religious overtones, the gentle hug as he drives the key in his friend's heart. Listen, it makes perfect sense if you've watched the series. If you haven't, I've just ruined the best part for you, so there's no point. I can't get enough of it. The layers of him having to let go because once he has deleted his friend from the game, even though his friend has already been dead for a long time, that means that he can never see him again. So good. So many awful, terrible emotions. And so for that, he has achieved second tier of the pyramid. It's my man from Flower Crew, Matchmaker Boy. This is the only screen grab I could find of him. I cannot find anything from the scene at the end where his terrible, awful father dies and he is so devastated. Even though he knew that he was a terrible, awful man, it was still so devastating for him. I love the realism. I love the layers. I appreciate the boys being racked with agony from time to time. So what a stellar performance. What a complicated grief. This man has earned second tier of the pyramid. On the first tier, the number 1 spot, I am morally obligated to give this to a scene from Crash Landing on You, because Crash Landing on You is the best show ever made. And Captain Rhee is the best character that has ever been in a show, ever. So this scene specifically is not one of the most fervent weeps. However, there he is. Look at his sweet little face. I mean, bless his heart. This is when Sari wakes up in the hospital and he goes to see her and he gets to talk to her for the first time after she has been shot. I could not tell you why this is my favorite. It was simply a gut instinct. I love it so much. I think it's because it's like happy tears. It's tears of relief. It's so sweet and pure and wholesome and vulnerable. And I mean, just look at his little face. He deserves the world. He deserves everything. And he absolutely deserves the top spot on the pyramid. So there we go. I hope that Abby Lee would be proud. Actually, I don't. I do not want or need Abby Lee's approval.
Abby, what are you doing?
I'm filing a police report.
But there they are. All my sons who I love equally, but some of my sons cry better than others.